Hello, welcome to the show this week. We're getting into a festive mood. Well, we're not. I am, sometimes. So it's Tuesday now, and I'm going to check the traffic on the road. Wednesday. Today's Wednesday.
We're dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. For the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in the one-horse open sleigh.
Hi, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Hey, look, my Facebook page is doing something weird. Check this out.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in the one-horse open sleigh. I thought I'd take a ride into the sunny bright. By my
This is a common problem that I have is like when you make scrambled eggs or eggs and you put them in here and it's so hard to get the eggs off the pan that you don't know when you're scrubbing so hard that you're actually removing a sponge rather than the egg. So it's hard to tell the difference between the sponge and the egg. So this is our new tree skirt, which I like because it looks like the Grinch, which is like not cool, really. The Grinch is not a good character to be like, But anyway, like every Christmas you gotta watch the Grinch. Well, it's not good, because he does change at the end. But how much? For how long? Same with Scrooge. I bet the next day he was out there fucking beating the hell out of kids with his cane. Like in the street. He's just like, fuck it, December 26th, he's back to bah humbugging, humbugging other people. It only took like a day. So maybe it's good to give some people a second chance, but then again, maybe not. What do you think? I don't know. It's like the Grinch. Was he a product of his environment, or was he just like he learned to be a bad person and then he learned to be a good person right away for some reason? That was just a very quick, conversion, I thought, But like, that's an interesting question. What about the magician? The magician who makes music disappear? That's a musician. Who had that old top hat, and he went to the classroom. This guy was really a pretty decent magician back in his day, but he'd come upon hard times. You reach that age about 45 and 50, 55, and you start gigging. Your gigs get less and less, and I understand that as a gigging musician. But this guy had a gig at an elementary school, where these precocious kids are laughing at him, and he's like, fuck, I'm just trying to make a few extra bucks, so I don't end up in jail. And so he has a hat, and this hat has not been really good luck for this fella for many, many years, And he's like, fuck it, just typical, of shit that happens to me all the time. Fuck it, I understand, I can relate to that, So he shows up to the classroom, and all of a sudden the fucking hat is magic. And he's like, fuck, my one saving grace, one opportunity to maybe cash in. Maybe I can fucking finally cash in and at least go out with something to say, or something, of my name, or some way to let people know that I was here on this earth. So he goes to grab the hat, and he has such a passion to grab it because he knows that hat represents his last way of letting the world know that he was here, and he was a magician, and he was decent, and he was just had come upon rough times and was taking gigs in schools for like $50 or whatever it was that the PTA could afford. So it's an interesting like backstory. I think someone should do that. Frosty the Snowman backstory on the man with the top hat that he thought was not magic. He like assumed it was when he bought it, because that's how he bought it. He's like, he spent a lot of money on the goddamn hat. See, there's a backstory. And it wasn't. He showed up to a gig, the first gig with the hat, and nothing happened, and everyone laughed at him. He didn't get called back to that club. But he did some pretty shady things. And in the end, Santa was the one who fucking shamed him. Santa fucking put him in his place, and he's like, look, bud, like, you don't want to get off my list. That's Santa. Santa, like, is a tight ship. Fucking Santa. So this whole container of discs is basically Christmas. Now, I've transferred these to DVD, and some of these DVDs, I was like, I'll put it on a DVD, that way I'll have it forever. A lot of times they were originally from VHS tapes, when I had a VHS camera, and then from various digital cameras. But going through the years here, it's like 2003. Sometimes I'd make more than one copy. There's 2006. Every single Christmas, I celebrated with family and with my, even by myself, and then my future wife, and everything else is documented here. Again, this is obsessive, maybe, and kind of silly, but my daughter's first Christmas, up and through then, every year, doing the same kind of corny traditional things that Dad likes. Hey, very important to me, going back through the 90s, I think the first Christmas that I taped was in 95, because that's the first year I had a video camera. But from 95 through now, that's 30 years of videos that I have, as well as 10 years before that with the audio. Hey, so how's it going? So we just got a live tree. We just brought a tree inside, and it's crazy. I know, we're just putting a tree inside the house. I don't know why, So I like Christmas. I do. The reason why I like Christmas, and I don't mean it in the religious sense, because I don't really follow that. And if you do follow it, most likely the date that they're referencing probably occurred in the springtime. So Christmas and Yule and all the other things, I enjoy the whole thing. I enjoy the magic of it and the children's thing, and every year I film as much as I can of Christmas so that I can watch it all year round and enjoy and keep it in my heart all year round, as Charles Dickens quoted Scrooge as saying, keep it in your heart all year round. And that's what I try to do, but it's hard to do that nowadays. This year we decided we're going to get a tree, a real tree, because we've had artificial trees for a few years. And this being my daughter's last Christmas as a child, next year she'll be an adult. So we thought we'd just do a real tree. It's a small tree. It's a 5-foot tree. But even so, this tree cost $50. This was a big expense of our Christmas. It was just an impulse type of thing. Hey, let's get a real tree this year, even though we have an artificial one, just because it smells nice. But $50 for this little tree, which is fine, because I ain't getting any younger, and you can tell by the look on my face. So I love Christmas, and for my entire life, I've enjoyed it. And going back to when I was a child, some great Super 8 movies of Christmases in the 70s that I had with my family. And growing up, it was a big part. Like, no matter what was happening, my father and mother, or my father and my stepmother, or my father tried to like pull it together to make it special for the kids, no matter what was happening. Like I had a lot of feuding with my stepmother growing up when I was a child, but like we had a truce when it came to Christmas time, and it was like, oh, okay, cool. It was like neutral territory, and it was a truce, for Christmas. So I think it started like my great-grandfather when I was younger. My great-grandfather was alive in part of my life when I was very young, and he had been through a lot. He was born on Christmas Day in 1883 in Manchester, England. And because he was born on Christmas Day, his name was Edwin Moss. And because he was born on Christmas Day, his nickname, or his middle name, was Chris. So his name was Edwin Chris Moss, M-O-S-S. And I didn't realize, I thought it was more of a nickname, but apparently it showed up on some documentation and some things because he was a Mason. He was a very high mucky muck Mason, my great-grandfather. He was a 33-degree Mason, which is like way up there, apparently. I don't know what kind of secret organization Masons are, and I know it was a little sketchy and weird, but he was a Mason. So he was a builder, he was a bricklayer, and he started a construction company, but he was a Mason. And so because he was Chris Moss, he was sort of like the patriarch of the family, and every Christmas we would surround him, and it would be beautiful. It was just like great granddad. But he was still alive when I was young. And he died at age 92 in 1975. But that's one of the reasons why I kind of like feel like there's a tradition in the family. Now it's not a religious thing, and sometimes, we did go to church, more of Episcopal. I grew up like Episcopal, which is just like, as my father used to say, Catholic light. It's a little different, the emphasis is not so, it's not so much on, sinning and you're a bad person. It was more of a community type church. It was very friendly and open and what have you. So I've always enjoyed Christmas. And then I started to like document Christmas. So at age 10, I made my first tape recording of me.
I hope you like our beautiful show. Today is Christmas Day, 1979.
Of me saying Merry Christmas, hi, and it's pretty cute. But ever since then, I made recordings, or tried to, every year, of basically saying what I got for Christmas, and then that sort of evolved into me talking about what kind of a day I had, and you can get a sense of, it's almost like a diary of the year, like another year has passed, and so I did that and have been doing that since 1979. So many years of recording, and I have all of these recordings I've tried to put them on disc because I want to preserve, I've videotaped most of the opening of the presents and things like that, which is really silly and corny, and people like my family are like, what the fuck? But I'm glad I did, because it just is like a lifetime. Christmas to me was a time of reflection, and it was a time of, again, laying down your arms and being like, having a truce, or just putting all those things away just for the day, and just coming together and enjoying the day, and feeling like those early traditions meant something, and that family ornaments and things that like you've had for years meant something. And it does to me. It's hard sometimes because Christmas, as you get older, and I'll be very sad, the first Christmas that I don't get to spend with my daughter because she's out, in her own life doing her own thing. But it was such a special joy for me to be a father and to have that whole experience again. You know, one of the reasons why I think people have children is so that they can enjoy their own childhood again through the eyes of their own children, which is strange, but it's like it's a very special time. And so I will be documenting some of that and going over some of the clips. I've got a lot of, you know, again, as a content creator since I was a child, you know, I just want to share some of this. And even though it's kind of silly and no one knows, you know, or cares about me personally, it's interesting to see the transition from year to year, just to follow the progress of someone's life, and to feel that that was the one time of year that I could just come, and no matter what was going on in my life, and there was a lot of stuff that I could just like put it all away just for the day